We go, right. Hello, John.
Hello, Water.
So, we created two videos there. They're on the YouTube channel, and they're about how religion influences technology. You had to listen to them, and what did you think of them?
Very good, I thought. And because let's face it, the Catholic Church, um, part of their record is that they were the first ones to start hospitals for to help those that were ill. They were the first ones to start the universities
Hmm.
and a lot of other things, and a lot of Catholics have been responsible for bringing on scientific experiments that benefited mankind.
Absolutely. And if you go back to devotion, religious devotion is what inspired the Notre Dame Cathedral, which was built in 1163. So if you look at all the advances in technology back then, 1163, you have on the and the Gothic, all the Gothic innovations in that cathedral, Notre Dame. But you have ribbed vaults, pointed arches, flying buttresses. All these things came in. This was to do with religious devotion, and people. If you look at all the churches around Ireland, so on, look at St. Patrick's Cathedral, okay, all inspired by religious devotion.
That's right, and they were all Catholic cathedrals, and it showed you how well they were developed. And during times when Catholics were doing a lot, so much good. This country was known as the Island of Saints and Scholars because
Hmm.
of the education and the great saints that helped to actually um, develop Europe in a way that they had gone a kind of pagan, and so they had a great record, and they have in various parts of Europe some Irish saints are still venerated. One from Saint Killian and from a little village here in a little village Saint Killian. He went abroad and is a paper and well saint in Germany. But they were
Hmm.
all martyrs, a lot of them for the faith, and they established monasteries as well in Europe and did a great lot of good
You did,
before
and
we were overwhelmed with the business of the Reformation and instead of being a force for good, they were a force for evil, and we suffered greatly. And our great record with the monasteries and the great manuscripts, the Lake of Bucas, Kells, and all the great beauty that they presented to the world. The Reformation destroyed all these great gems that we had, and so it didn't bode much for civilization as we knew it, and the great gifts that the Catholic faith bestowed, and we were persecuted for hundreds of years. We don't hear much about it from the people that should be commemorating all these events. They
mhm.
sweep it under the carpet. Our own crowd, and that's to their great discredit.
It is indeed. Of course, I'm like, so while technology, I suppose, helps to, or religion helps to bring about all these technologies, has a great influence on them, it also prevents us from doing things. For example, like the question now people are asking is the ethical boundaries in AI, for example, artificial intelligence, okay? And should we imprint religion into AI? I would say we should, knowing what I know about artificial intelligence and being coming from a computer background. I think it will be very, very important to put religion into AI, the world's religions, and then there's other things like biotechnology, and religion prevents us from doing certain things with biotechnology. So religion is kind of a gatekeeper as much as it is an innovation tool as well. And which people don't think of religion in that way, that When we think of religion,
It's
we
a
think of,
safeguard.
yeah, it's a safeguard. We think of worship, but religion actually has a profound impact on society and every aspect of it.
You'll find that the secular agenda tries to portray the Catholic faith, especially because of its history going back 2,000 years when it was established by the apostles and our martyrs for it, except John that looked after her blessed mother. So it's established and they did a lot of good. They suffered greatly in the beginning, but gradually they came up and they then when this Emperor Constantine saw a vision of the cross and he become a Catholic and a very staunch Catholic, and his mother also a very staunch Catholic. So going back at that time, the Catholic faith inspired all these people to do good, and that's the main purpose. What to do good, and by the way, to do more good for the poor. We hear a lot of talk about that, especially from the secular crowd, but they expect the government to do it, whereas the church has done it for years. They're doing it even in this country, feeding the poor and looking after those that are down and out and drug addicts and trying to rehabilitate them. There's so much good going on that we will be highlighting when we get established, please God.
That's it. But the thing is, like if you look at all these people who go abroad, these religious organizations to go abroad to Africa and different places, and they bring clean water and education and disaster relief in poor regions. They have to be quite innovative, and they have to kind of, they're in, say, Africa. They have to come up with these innovative ways to. I've seen programs over the years to get water out of the ground, for example. So they're inventing these new technologies. This is religiously inspired innovation.
They are, and of course also they're helping the people to get an education. They're providing nuns and priests and all the rest of it are providing an education for people because when people are educated, they can rise up from whatever it is that that they're the yoke that they're under, and they're bringing great help and to these countries in many ways, and providing hospital treatment as well. They're into that. They're doing a lot more than a lot of other ones that talk about what they're doing, and it's the Catholic faith and the Catholic Church that's doing quite a bit in a real practical way for people.
Yeah, so I think, look, religion, it's an aspect I looked into there about 2 weeks ago. I was thinking to myself, when you think of all the things religion touches, we never speak of it, how it touches technology and everything around us, all the gadgets we have, and it's quite inspiring.
It is, and because they were responsible in the scientific and the technological way for many events and too numerous to mention. We'd want to be experts in that field, and but we do know that that religion and science can work together. But people that haven't got religion often but think that science can solve various problems, which they can't because creation is there. Uh, they certainly can't create anything. Create. We know that the world was created by God and the world will finish. Its time will be up, and there'll be a new heaven kind of thing in due course. So we have the beauty around us, and we've great beauty in this country, aside from all the business and the lovely churches that we have, and it behoves people to examine and practice what is which is a great gift for their immortal soul. Because at the end of the day, with all the technology and all the rest of it, the most important thing that any human being has is the business of being able to communicate and save their immortal soul. So if people focus on that and do the various goods that they can do in various areas, like your good self, very good on the way you're able to use AI for a positive purpose and uplift of the spirit and so on and so forth. And that's the way to use it. people of an evil disposition will use it for some other evil things, but we be able to spot that.
That's it.
Uh,
But
and
if you go back,
I find when I'm looking at various programs, it's extraordinary. For example, Nuala O'Whail that does the news. Don't know if she's retired now, but every so often she's recommending something for 250 euros. So it's all this peculiar people using AI for not good purposes.
criminal purposes, yeah. But going back to the Notre Dame Cathedral, okay. Um, the construction began under Bishop Maurice de Sully during the reign of King Louis VII. This was 1163. So you can imagine, like, this was religious devotion. And this Notre Dame Cathedral is absolutely beautiful. But you can imagine all the invention that had to take place, all inspired by devotion, right? All the different
That's
things
right.
they had to do to create they had to make it up as almost as they went along.
That's right, and they did, and we see it here too. That the beautiful stained glass windows. I mean, they seem to be there for hundreds of years without that they were so well designed, and the whole structure and so well designed and so lasting such a length of time. There's not too many other edifices that last as long as some of these cathedrals. And the terrible tragedy that Notre Dame happened with the fire. Uh, People come together all over the world because it caused, and especially in France, it brought tears to people's eyes because even if they weren't practicing, they knew it had a very important place in their belief, even if they weren't going to the church as much as possible. I had a great honour of getting mass in the private part of that years ago, just by a pure chance meeting the right person as I was going in and asking about what time mass was at, and they must have saw something. And hold on, and then they gave me an invoice to go to Mass the following morning and went into the Holy of Holies, where there was kind of monks and all the rest of it, and it was a very good experience. I still have great memories of that.
And there you go.
No,
It's yeah, because I mean, if you look all around all the different churches and stuff, it's fascinating to see what religion inspired. You mentioned there stained glass, and I was thinking actually of Harry Clark. We overlooked him. So when you think of the work Harry Clark done, all the techniques he had for stained glass, a lot of that was
yeah.
religiously inspired.
Yes, and it depicted the stained glass windows depicted a story that any person could understand, and that was often a way for to pass on to the faith of people that might have been not might have been mightn't have been able to read or write or something, but the pictures give them they got the knowledge of the faith from these stained glass windows
This is
because
the
it
thing.
depicted in many cases that the whole story of Jesus and the apostles and all the rest of it.
So there you go. I just thought
Beautiful.
we'd cover it. Thought it was a good subject, and so that concludes our video. It's a very good one. It's something that people should be aware of, that when they do look around in society and see all the things that religion does, it's not just about mass. It's not just about saying your prayers. It's not about worshiping God. It's actually to look at religion as a very, very useful and very responsible thing to have in
That's
part
right. But
for
as
your
I say,
life.
yeah, most of the important thing is when you do practice it, it's to save your immortal soul because we all have a soul,
You
and
know,
it's not portrayed enough in the overall situation that we have an immortal soul, and the only way to do that is with visiting the church and doing your devotions and all the rest of it. There was too many changes made that weren't conducive to the worship that was with 90%, 95% of Irish people practice their Catholic faith in my young days up till I was 30. But that has declined because of the changes. you can't be changing too many things. It doesn't have the desired effect that where whoever thought that it would, it had the opposite effect. But the important thing about churches is to visit and say your prayers and so on and so forth. That's the most important.
That's it, John Malone. I'm going to open a bag of jelly babies. I'm going to say goodnight to you.
Right.
Bye now.
I do. Treat yourself. Yeah. Point.